Hey, hello everyone. I am Christina Taylor, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from North Canton, Ohio, in the United States. And I am coming to you with a um, Fun Folds class. This class is going to teach you four different folds in some fun different ways that aren't too complicated. I'd like to think they're simple, duplicatable, mailable fun folds. So sometimes with fun folds in my classes, I've gotten very adventurous, and it is quite the creative workout for the ladies. So I have learned over the years to kind of tone them down a little bit, not make them too complicated, because I want you to be able to take these ideas and recreate your own cards at home in addition to what you've made in class. So I had my in-person class this week, and the ladies, I had great feedback from the projects. So I'm grateful for that. I always like to get that feedback, whether it's positive or negative, like meaning there's some room to grow. I definitely want to hear that as well because I always want to improve on what I'm doing. So I love that the ladies that come in person, since I'm no longer teaching the classes at the North Canton Y, I'm doing them at my home in what I am calling the Creativity Barn. Which is my husband's building, but he is finishing up inside. And the people that attend class, all my stamping friends, they really like the environment that we're in. And I am grateful for that. I'm glad that it's a better fit than what we used to have. And they enjoy the community of each other while we're stamping and being creative. So, anyway, we had a beautiful day this week for classes and enjoyed creating these projects together. So I'm going to share with you some fun folds today. And I'm going to share a few things with you that are new to Stampin' Up! With some online exclusives. And I don't know if I think I designed these projects before I was actually able to pre-order those items. So we are using some retired papers on these projects, some current as well. But I had to pull in a couple retired ones simply because I needed more paper to be able to have enough supplies for all the ladies that registered. So I'm currently working on the kits to go for this class. And so those ladies can enjoy their projects at home and watch this video tutorial and recreate the things that we did in class. So I think that's about it to kind of chat about. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn the camera down, and we're going to go ahead and get started stamping. Okay, so here's a little peek at the projects that we're going to be creating today. Just kind of had them laid out here. Um, so we'll kind of revisit these as we get a little closer to putting them together, but I did just want to have them kind of out for you to be able to get a little peek at. And we'll circle back around in a little bit here. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a variety of products, and if there is something that you would like to have for your creative um, enjoyment to be able to create things on your own at home, you can visit my online store at stampingyoucrazy.stampinup.net. My current host code is RSWM4BAC. When you use this code online, when you're placing an online order, that lets me know that you would like my free card kit that I give away each month for those online orders using this host code. And there's a 3-card kit that you'll receive with the envelopes, the supplies, and everything you need to make the projects. And you can follow along with the video tutorial to do that. And that's just an extra thank you from me to you for your online order. You can also find me on Facebook at Stamp Me Crazy, although I will admit, I'm quite honest that I'm not hugely active on Facebook. I do need to get better. I realize that. I certainly do. I actually should post something there so that it's just kind of more up to date. I just tend to communicate in person or on my email list, with mailing and things like that, but I shall get better. So, and then of course on YouTube, You can find me at Christina Taylor Stamp Me Crazy. So when you're watching this video, if you would give me a thumbs up and hit the like and subscribe button, which is, let's see, I'm trying to figure out how to do like down here somewhere. Should be on the screen in that lower, maybe lower right hand corner. To hit the subscribe button so you get notifications when I upload a new video. And feel free to comment and give me your feedback on the video, on the projects. I really appreciate that feedback. Helps me grow. And please share it. You're welcome to share the video as well. That has helped me grow my business, and I appreciate that you enjoyed the video enough that you want to share it with others and help inspire them creatively. So I thank you for that in advance. This is our current catalog. If you do not have a copy of this catalog and you would like one and you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is stampmecrazy@sbcglobal.net, and we can connect from there. So I am going to also share with you, we've got a couple new things here. So we've got a couple new card kits that were released the beginning of July. There's the Circus Celebration Kit, and this is an 8-card kit. And it is like an all-inclusive, like with punch out and everything. So there is no stamping, I believe, in this kit. I think they're greeting pieces. You punch them out and just kind of assemble the cards. It has a very playful effect with, like, of course, a circus theme, birthday theme, that type of thing. This other kit is Garden of Thanks. Oh, and that kit is $14. The Garden of Thanks is $23. Now that is an all-inclusive kit, so you get a kit that makes 9 cards, and the visual is not, there you go. You can kind of get a better visual of the projects. You do get a Stampin' Spot in here, and let me see what color it is. It's a Misty Moonlight Stampin' Spot. You get a block, you get the stamp set, you get a bunch of die cut pieces, some specialty gold foil, some gold sequins, all the cardstock envelopes and everything you need to create these projects. And of course, you'll have the Stampin' Spot, the block, and the stamp set to continue to use over and over again. So this is a $23 kit, and this Circus Celebration, again, is $14. I'll get a little closer so you can see that Circus Celebration there. Okay. So these are online exclusives. They were released here at the beginning of July, and I am currently offering a product-based class with this Changing Leaves bundle. So I'll get a little closer look at that. That's a stamp set, the dies, and a hybrid embossing folder. If you want more information on that, feel free to reach out to me. We've got some vanilla satin ribbon, frosted forest stamp set with, I believe that's got dies with it. It's later in the catalog. Golden greenery dies, the golden greenery photopolymer stamp set that has a very holiday theme. And then, of course, some holiday themed designer series papers. So it's kind of like a Christmas in July type thing we got going on here. Again, you can see all these a little better and more vibrant if you look online. That's where you'll see them. They are not in any publication that we currently have. You can just see them online, but that doesn't mean you can only order them online. If you see something that you like in the online exclusives, you can reach out to me and I'm happy to order it for you. It can be included with a workshop or a club order. It's just that you only see them online. That's where the products are pictured. So there's some greetings of the season dies, which goes along with the greetings of the season bundle, which is a verse set, and it has a couple different fonts in it. It's super pretty. The sophisticated sled bundle has been really popular with demonstrators. I've seen a lot of that, so I would expect that it will carry over and be popular with customers as well, as long as the scenic pumpkin patch photopolymer stamp set. There's some decorative masks with some pine trees. That's the dies. Here's the forest, the frosted forest bundle, and that's one with the stamp set that I mentioned on the front. Some cream woven ribbon. Then let's see, they've mentioned the journal kit on here, which came out last month. The Golden Greenery bundle right here with the stamp set and the dies. Here's the Frosted Forest dies. There's a Potions and Spells dies, which there's a stamp set right here. So you get a very Halloween feel to it. Some white frayed grosgrain ribbon. This reminds me of, which I use a lot, is the white frayed ribbon. It was in the catalog. It was like 5/8 thickness, excuse me, thickness ribbon. And I would like cut it. I cut it in half a lot. And if you pull some of the fibers, it frays like that. It's almost identical to this particular ribbon, in my opinion. And that frayed ribbon is the woven ribbon is currently on the clearance rack for $3. So this is a great value too at $8. It's already done. The work's done for you. You don't have to cut it in half, but the white frayed ribbon that is on the clearance rack, you can accomplish a very similar look to this ribbon, which I love. So, um, and then there's the iconic imagery dies that goes along with the designer series paper and the stamp set. And then the Season of Green and Gold Suite, which has the stamp set, embellishments, dies. It has two sets of dies and two stamp sets along with the ribbon. So it's kind of it's a suite of products. This is just giving you a closer look at the embellishments and paper that are in some of those suites that are just released. So you can get a closer look online. There's some pecan pie and clear ribboned adhesive back jot. So these look like you're not going to be able to see the texture on this, but there's some texture to the flatness of these dots. So they have a nice texture. It's great. And they're flat, which is nice for mailing. Cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive backed berries. So we've got these little clustered berries. Let me get a closer look there. See, I don't know if you can actually pick up the reflection on those pattern on those dots there, but then there's an everyday greetings, which complements the greetings of the season. Oh my gosh, easy for me to say. They both work hand in hand with you can mix and match the words to like increase your versatility of your greetings. There's a Greatest Adventure cling set, which has a steam engine on it, train for all you train enthusiasts. And then this is just more of the bundles with the sled and the Halloween images. There's Filled with Cheer photo polymer stamp set, which has a snowman on and some winter scenes. And then Playful Ghost, which of course goes along with the holiday of Halloween. Gold Mercury Vellum, which is a new specialty designer paper. And this just talks about the two kits that were just released as well. And then the iconic imagery bundle too. So just a little snippet of what's available. Like I said, you can get a closer look online, and that's where you can see most of the up-to-date current information. All right. So I'm going to grab some products here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I just realized I forgot to get my stamp scrub. Let me go grab one. Okay, I just went and got, or not my stamp scrub, we got a chamois to clean up our stamps. So this is it's a very well-loved chamois, of course, especially after we've had a class. I've since rinsed them out, but it's just moistened and damp with water, and I just put it in the stamp case and keep it there for storage purposes. And that's how I clean my stamps. So that'll be over to the side here, and that'll be what I'm using to clean my stamps. So the stamp set that I'm using is the Spotlight on Nature stamp set. I love the gentleness of this stamp set, the imagery, and just a couple simple sentiments in there. But I just love that's the best way I can describe it, is the gentleness of the images. With this project, we're using the Basic Beige, which is a new neutral for us, and Soft Seafoam. And then we're going to use the Wink Stella to add a little sparkle, because, you know, everything's better with a little sparkle. And that's about it, except for we're also going to use the Simply Scored scoreboard for for some scoring. So, just a the little pegs on the back side just came off. So let me put that back on there. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what we've got in our kit here. So we've got an envelope, just a basic white envelope. I've got a little scrap piece of soft sea foam that we're going to use for a butterfly. I have 2 pieces of specialty designer series paper, and that is cut 1 inch by 4 inches. You've got 2 of those. I've got a piece of basic beige that's cut 4¼ by 11. And another piece of basic beige that is 3¼ by 4. And a piece of crumb cake that is 4¼ by 3½. No, no. 3½ by 4¼ the measurements were the same. I just used the wrong directional. So if you cut it at that, you're going to get what I'm saying. So we're going to bring in our Simply Score tool. I love to use this, especially for fun folds when you have some scoring that you need to do. So at class, I had made a template for the ladies with this so that they knew where to score their different markings. And sometimes it's a good visual for them if they can just kind of line it up here. It's helpful for them with finding the correct line that they need to score in. So we're going to go up here to the 2 1/8 inch marking, and I'm going to just come straight down, make a score line there. And then we're going to go to 4¼ bring that down and make a score line, and then 5½. Okay. Let me get that out of the way. All right, so when you're doing fun folds, I think it's best it's key that you fold on the score line and flatten that crease with your bone folder to get just a nice crisp fold. So I'm going to fold that in half. So we folded that in half. Then we're going to take that next score line that you're seeing right there. We're going to flip that back. Okay, flip that back, score there. And then I'm going to open my card and take this next score line here and fold that back. Okay. Folding it back and flattening that. All right, so we've got our score lines folded. We're ready to start putting together here. So we are creating a bookbinding fold that's going to work together with the rest of the fold to create a unique version for this card. So you're going to start by taking some adhesive and just putting some adhesive in that section right there. So you got like 1¼ inch. We're going to put adhesive on that side of the panel and we're going to close that shut. So that is going to create our book binding fold. Okay. So we're going to set this aside for right now because I'm going to do a little stamping and stamping paper. Hang on. Okay. Grab a scrap piece of paper here. And I'm going to come in with basic beige and this leaf stamp. Go ahead and open the soft sea foam up there too. So I'm just going to ink the leaf stamp and the basic beige and just stamp that at an angle right there. Now, when you stamp the basic beige, it looks a little green. Not gonna lie, like that looks green to me. Like kind of like if you remember our old color, it was what was it Mossy Meadow? No, Mellow Moss. I think it was Mellow Moss. It was like a green color. That's what that reminds me of. And I'm going to bring back in my card base that I had folded, and I want to put a little bit of the leaves down here at the base of this part of the card. So I'm going to just do that. And I think I'll go ahead and do some leaves on my envelope. Okay. So then I'm going to bring this piece back in, and I'd like to use the dear friend, because dear friend, you can make this dear friend, happy birthday, dear friend with sympathy, dear friend thinking of you, get well soon, whatever you might need a card for. So I'm going to stamp that on the basic beige. And then I'm going to use this little hash mark kind of stamp. And I'm going to do a couple of these, almost making it like a butterfly. That's the best way I could describe it. Just going to put a little texture right there at the base, the stem of that leaf. Right. I'm done with the basic beige, so I'm going to shut that. I'm going to come in with the little butterfly and stamp that. Okay, closed. And I want to put a little wink of Stella on my butterfly here. This will just give it a little sparkle. And I know that's hard to see on the camera, so I won't even bother to like put it up there and try to create the shimmer because it's very, very hard to do so. But wink of Stella is a great way to get a little shimmer on your projects. And we do not have a die for this stamp set that die cuts the images. There is a die set for this stamp set, but it is a series of circles with decorative edges on them, which is absolutely beautiful. I've used it before on my videos. But today we're just going to fussy cut that butterfly out. So I will do that. Scissors here. Okay. So I'm just going to fussy cut that out really quickly. It's a pretty easy cut, so one far enough. So if you just turn the cardstock, trying to concentrate and not cut off the butterfly's little antennas. That's probably the most difficult part of cutting this little guy out. Is just don't cut off the antennas. And then you're all set. Okay, there we go. We're all cut out, super easy, doesn't take a lot of time. I probably cut that in the amount of time that it would take me to set up the cut and emboss machine if I had a die and actually cut. So very easy to do. All right, so I'm going to come back in with some adhesive and we're going to start to assemble our card. Actually, we're just going to go ahead and get it assembled because we're set and ready to go. I'm going to put a little of the Tombow liquid adhesive on my specialty paper. So you're going to put one down on that section that we glued down to make the binding. And then another. Okay. Then we're going to come in with that stamp layer that we had. And layer that with our slightly larger and darker layer. I'm going to put a little bit of tape. So when you're doing this part of the fold, so you want to make sure that this flap is folded back. All right, you are just putting adhesive on this flap. You do not want to put adhesive on this because there's a good chance you're going to put adhesive all over it. And then you're going to have a sticky adhesive on a side that's going to be exposed. And you don't want that. So I'm just going to go ahead and run some adhesive down that fold. And then I'm going to take and just kind of split the difference of the card on each side. Line that up with my base and press down. So that way I know I'm centering it. I'm getting a nice center in between the designer series paper so the card looks visually appealing just looking at it this way. And then I'm going to grab some dimensionals. And we're going to use the minis. They have slightly lower profile than the regular dimensionals. A little butterfly right there at that base of that leaf. And here is our first card. So there's our card. So this is the fun fold. Okay. You're looking at it like this. Okay. So you created a book binding, then you're folding the front part of what's left between the book binding seam and your card. That's basically folded in half to create the rest of your fun fold. And you get a card that looks like that. It's going to mail the same size, but if you were looking at it before you even opened it up, you'd think it was a card that opened up this way, but it is not. Now, if you need more room to write, you can always flip this in and you can write more message back here because this part of the card is going to be hidden when you go to set it up. When after somebody receives it, they're going to display it this way. So you have that extra room for writing if you need to. All right. Okay, so I am going to put these things, get them out of the way and grab some supplies, and we're going to do another project here. My stylus just went flying. That's not good. Okay. Next project. So this one, we're going to change it up even more. So we are using the Cheerful Daisies stamp set, using this Cheerful Daisy dies. I have already gone and die cut. I've used this label out of there. I've used this die, and then I don't know where the, oh, and then this little one for the leaf. So I have already die cut those out for us out of the Cheerful Daisy dies. At class, so at class, we did a couple different versions. So I'm going to have these colors out, but we are not using those particular colors. I've got my stamps here on blocks. And then we're going to use the Stamparatus for stamp positioning. So at class, the ladies did either this one. Okay, this is a pocket card. So you've got a little fun fold card with a pocket to it. All right. Same here. Same layout, just different color template, but same layout. So this one primarily uses Pretty Peacock and Crushed Curry. That's what if you had this color template, you use those two inks. If you had this one, then you used Boho Blue and Cajun Craze. Kind of a fun combination, but this paper is really what gave me that color combination. Now I am using the Cheerful Daisies designer series paper, and that has retired. But like I told the ladies at class, the papers that we used two of them, I think, that were retired. Always, always, always check the clearance rack because Stampin' Up! Will throw papers on there and you can get them for like $5, $6, maybe even less. Sometimes I've gotten them for $4. So, and it's great, great paper. So this sheet here is a piece of designer series paper, as is this sheet. And then these two top pieces, of course, are designer series paper too. So we are going to actually change it up because I had so many ladies that registered for the class in person that I had to get a different paper and design a different design so that I had enough cards stocked for everybody to do the project. So on the one I'm going to be showing to you today, it still has the same layout and everything, but only we're going to be using Bubble Bath and Moody Mauve for our colors. Okay. And I'm going to share those with you. So we've got on our supplies, we've got our basic white envelope. We have got a piece of Moody Mauve that is cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And this is our card base. We've got a piece of designer series paper. Now I've already cut it, but it was at 4 by 5 1/4. So just 1/4 inch difference all the way around. And I have cut this at a triangle cut. So 3 1/8 and 3 1/8. So I just measured in both on both sides, 3 1/8, and then I did a cut at an angle there. That's going to help create our pocket. So same here, this cardstock, this Moody Mauve cardstock was a square that was cut 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. And I just simply cut it in half to give me that square to be able to mount this piece of designer series paper to. Then I have another piece of Moody Mauve that is, this is 3¼ by 8½. And I have scored that 4¼ So it's already scored for you. And then I've got a piece of designer series paper that is 3" by 4". Two different sides here. We're going to use the side with the daisies on it. A piece of basic white cardstock that is 3×4. Then, like I said, I've gone ahead and die cut a basic white label out, the basic white daisy, and then a leaf petal. And then I've tied a little bit of some white grosgrain ribbon and a little white bow already tied here for you. Okay, so go ahead, fold our card base and flatten that down. Okay, and I'm going to grab all the things I want to stamp on. So we will do that first. All right, so what I did was make myself a template. And this was very helpful for the ladies at class. If I'm making a lot of cards with die cuts, I will just go ahead and run through a bunch of the die cut, and then I'll worry about lining my stamps up afterwards. I find that this is an easy process to help simplify everything, and it works for me. So what I did was I created a template with the label die in there, the daisy die, and the leaf petal. So I'm going to take my die cut and just put the leaf petal in there, the daisy, and it's just like a puzzle. So I'm just finding out where that goes. And then same with the label. So for this one, I'm going to use, like I said, the Bubble Bath and Moody Mauve because that's what's going to be complementary to that project, or this one here that I'm creating. So I'm going to use the Bubble Bath on my daisy. And ideally, when you're using the Stamparatus, using the little Stampin' Spots is like great because it's just the right size. But as long as you're careful with the ink pads and just gently tap it instead of pushing it down, you'll get a sufficient ink on there to be able to stamp your image. Sometimes when you're using like a heavy hand and you're pushing, it's just getting ink all over everything. And then you wonder why you've got ink on your hands. And it's because it was on the plate when you stamped it down. So easy fix. So I'm just going to close my Stamparatus and use my little handle that I've got here. This just used to be an old cookie press and I just use it when I'm stamping. So I've got my daisy. Let me get my little, I need my paper piercing tool to kind of pick that out. Sometimes the template's so good, it's just a little tight and then you got to get things out. So this is helpful. Okay, and then I just use my chamois to clean off my stamps that are on the Stamparatus, and then we'll just close that and put that aside. Okay. I've also taken the daisy out. So in the stamp set, you've got the solid image, which is what I just stamped in, but then you also have an outline image and you've got the little centers as well. So I'm just going to create some daisies on my inside and also on my envelope and add a center to the daisy as well. So let's do that bubble bath again. I'm going to stamp a daisy there and we'll do one on the back too. Oh, I'd like to do one on there too. Yeah. For the inside of the card. And I'm going to take the little center. We're going to do that in the Moody Mauve to kind of give a nice contrast. Nice, like that. Because in the stamping world, you can make your daisies whatever color you want. Okay. So I've got all the inks out of the way. We've done all the stamping. We're ready to put this guy together. Come back in with my Tombow adhesive. It's so nice today outside. I actually opened up the windows. It has been so hot that I mean we have air conditioning, but my goodness, it's been hot, and especially like, if you're a woman of a certain age and you have the hot flashes, well, that's a whole other ball game then too. So it's nice to kind of have some cool temperatures. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, can I, just get an amen. You know what I mean? It's the struggle is real. So, but it is a beautiful day today and I'm loving that. And I am just, yeah, we're going to call it a win. Okay. Of course, it was a beautiful day yesterday. It was just really hot and humid. But... So I've got my card, mini card there ready to go. I'm going to put my card base down and then turn over my DSP here. And this is my large angled piece. I want to use the mauve side. And I'm just going to create a little bit of like about an eighth of an inch border. It's kind of hard to probably see on camera. So see, I've just got about an eighth of an inch border there around my card base. I'll put that down. Bring in my triangled piece of Moody Mauve. Right over top of this one, which I need to pick that up to just kind of line it up. There we go. Okay. Then I'm going to come in with some tear and tape because I want to create a pocket and I only want to put adhesive down the lower portion and up the side. You don't want to put adhesive all in there or it's not going to create a pocket. It's just going to create a triangle that is fastened down. So that one. And so this tear and tape just works really well. You can, tear what you need, put it down, and it holds very well. So if anytime you're creating something where you're going to put a little bit of tension on it, put that off. The tear and tape does work well, or the Stamp and Seal Plus is also a good other alternative. But I prefer the tear and tape myself. I'm going to, well, I'm going to bring my take your pick tool and try to get this off because my nails aren't wanting to cooperate with me. I just did them yesterday in a yellow, it's like a pale yellow. Maybe something different for me. I don't normally go with yellow, but it's very pastel-y, very, I don't know, I thought it would be a little summery. I maybe should have went with a really bright yellow, but so I'm going to take this and instead of putting it down in my corner like all the way down here, I am going to line it up with the piece of designer series paper so that I can continue that border around the outside of the card with the Moody Mauve. And I know on camera it's probably a little difficult to see here, but it lines up with your base, or it lines up with the DSP base that you put down there. So then we've got our little pocket here that we are going to tuck our folded card in. So we've got that. All right, and we're gonna assemble this. Oh, I need to stamp the center on that one. I didn't do it. Let's see. Okay. Easy fix there. All right, so I'm gonna put these on with some dimensionals as well. Let me grab them. Sorry for the reach of my arm here. So we'll Get those little guys off here, and I'm gonna put this out right here, right? And then come in with my, figure out how to just kind of play with it, see how you want to do it. I want to take a little glue on this leaf. I'm gonna tuck it behind. Just trying to figure out where I want it. It's about right there. Okay. Some more dimensionals back on this one. It's right about there. Love that. And then I need some adhesive to put on here for my bow. I'm just gonna grab my Stampin' Seal because I don't know what where I put my glue dots. They'll probably turn up here. I might already have them with a project that I'm gonna need them with. So just put that bow on there, press that down. Let's put these there. So here is our second project. So you've got a fun little, pocket card goes in there. Little daisy on there. So yeah, a little fun project. So this is it in Moody Mauve and Bubble Bath. This is it in Pretty Peacock and Crushed Curry. And this is another example in Cajun Craze and Boho Blue, which like would not be a combination I would have thought of normally, but I really love it. It works really well. So I think all of these templates are very nice. So depending on what you got in your card kit, you'll have the supplies to be able to create that will be complementary to the designer's paper that was in your kit too. So, okay, let me put this out of the way. Just set it up here so I can. Okay. I'm going to grab these things, get them out of the way, and we're going to bring in another project. Okay. All right. Okay, so this next project is going to be a combination one too. I'm going to show you a little something different. So on this one, we are using the pluralized enamel effects. They are in the catalog. This particular package, you get the white, the red, and the black. So I'm going to show you how you can make your own embellishments. I've done this before on a project, several projects. I love this idea. It's a great way to just make your own embellishments when you maybe don't have them on hand to match the colors that you're wanting. I've used the Nested Essentials dies, and on this one, because I used this on the next project as well, we are using, well, these kind of got all jumbled up in class. Let me just straighten them out here a bit. Okay. We are using this, so the smallest and then the second large, it's the second smallest on the project. And then you also have these two shapes. So we're using this particular one. And I don't know if I've already die cut. No, I haven't. So I'm going to need that one out. I did already die cut the larger of the two. Put that back in. And then on this project, like I said, there's a couple different versions. So depending on the version you have, you may have used Mossy Meadow ink, Wild Wheat, or Granny Apple Green. And then I pulled out some old favorites. And I know those of you who have been stamping for a while, you probably have these stamps. I loved these wonderful word stamps with the cursive and then the lines out. So I pulled these out because I do not have the new stamp set, I believe it's called Softly Scripted. And it is beautiful. It's online. So you can view it in the online exclusives, and it is little words written out kind of like this in cursive with the lines that kind of linger. So this is giving you a different alternative. If you don't have the new stamp set like myself, and you have these guys, you can you can create as you would with this. So I'm going to grab the Celebrate out of here, but I had the 8 different ones so the ladies could choose with what they would like at class. And then I'll just go ahead and show you. So what I've done is I've created some pearlized black dots. And I did that by taking the liquid pearlized enamel and making little dots on my silicone mat. And then I just let those dry overnight. So they have created some embellishments for me. And we're going to use those on this card. So this card is similar to the layout that we had earlier, only it is not a pocket card. It is actually attached to the base, and then you've got this fun die cut label and similar concept with a little card there. Okay, so at class you either had this template, this one as far as the paper. Now some of the ladies flipped over the papers and did something different, which I love to see. Or you had this paper with the fishing poles on it. So it would be the wild wheat option. So since that is what I have, that is what I'm going to stamp with. Pretty sure I'm going to use that one. I might use that, but I know I'm definitely not going to be using the granny apple on this one. So, and then you can see where I added those embellishments that I made. And on this one, I just picked up some of our little green sparkly ones and added to that. Now, the paper that I used on this one is from the Dandy Designs paper, and it is actually on the clearance rack right now. It's a 48 sheet 12 by 12 pack with all kinds of fun, bright colors, different designs like from dots, plaids, stripes, just things that are very versatile, but in a lot of bright, fun colors. And you can get that, like I said, 48 sheets, 12 by 12. It's, I think, on sale for $27. So it's a great buy. So that's currently available. The fishing paper, it is not available. It is retired. But again, watch the clearance rack. Okay. So we are going to start with, let me tell you the supplies I've got. So we've got a very vanilla envelope. I've got a thick piece of very vanilla that is 4.25 by 5.5. Then I've got a piece of designer series paper that is 4 by 5.25. It's got that on the back there, kind of like a fishing net type design. Then I've got a piece of thick, very vanilla. And this is cut at 3.25 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. Then I've got a piece of designer series paper that's 3 by 4. So you've got that plaid on the back there. And then I've got a scrap piece of basic white that is probably like, I don't know, 1.5 inches by 4. It's just enough to do our sentiment so we can die cut this out. Okay, so I actually do need to die cut that out. I thought I had already done it. So I'm going to grab that other die and I'll die cut that out when we go to die cut the greeting. So I'm going to go ahead and fold our card base there using the bone folder to flatten that. And on this one, we are just really stamping our greeting. So I'm going to go with the wild wheat since that's what our designer series paper is. Bring a piece of stamping paper back in here. And we're going to have that Celebrate. Stamp that on our vanilla. And then I'm going to die cut these out. I mean, how easy is that? This one's super simple. The paper does all the work on this. All right, so I need to die cut the smaller one out of there and the larger one out of here. And I'm going to show you why I'm doing it that way. So let me run and die cut those really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and die cut those out. So I die cut this frame right out of the center of that DSP because we are going to cover, and I'm seeing the camera going now, so I'll put my scissors in the shot there to hopefully help it focus. we're going to cover over top of that. So I've just die cut it out of there for a paper that I was just going to layer over top of. And then I went ahead and die cut the sentiment out of the smaller um, label piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on that. And we're just going to layer that nicely with that die cut. Okay. And then layer this designer series paper on our vanilla card base. Just kind of evenly put that on there. And then run some adhesive down the back side of this vanilla card base. That is like our mini card. Ah, put that. There we go. And then I wanted to put my designer series paper. Now you could do that if you wanted to do plaid on the back. You could, because the way these poles are set up, it kind of looks like striping on there. So you can do really whatever works best for you. I want to use the fish. Okay. And then I'm going to put my label layered piece on here. Now keep in mind, this is going to hang over a little bit, so I don't want to put dimensionals all the way to the end. And these are the minis again. I'm using the minis, they just have a little bit lower of a profile. And just because we have multiple layers and folds here, I'm just going to use a little bit slimmer one. But if you have the regular dimensionals, they'll be fine. Just this is what I grabbed and it'll work out fine. So I'm just going to put that, center that on my card. Okay. And then, oh, I do need to find those glue dots because I'm going to need them here. Okay, here's some. Here we go. Okay, so now I want to take these that I made earlier and make some fun embellishments for my card. So I'm going to take some mini glue dots, and these have paper on top of them. So what I'm doing is just peeling them off the sheet. These were actually probably from a paper pumpkin kit. Just had some extra dots. So I've got the little paper pieces on there. And much like the dimensionals, I'm just going to peel them off because when you make these little guys, although they're sticky going on before while they're wet, coming off, they're not sticky on the back side. So I'm just picking them off with my fingers and putting them right on a glue dot. And I just thought this is such a fun embellishment to do on a masculine card because it's not like overly blingy and girly like looking. Um, it gives you just a masculine touch and just adds a little bit of extra bling to it. So let me bring in those other projects so you can kind of see them all three at the same time. And then the envelope, I didn't do anything on the envelope on this one. So I'm just gonna leave it as I know I might stamp something random on it. I'm not sure, but this one I just left plain. So didn't have a design for that one. So a gas that's like a naked envelope, I know. So that's the one we just made. And then these are two other options, which again, you could have any one of these three combinations in your kit if you got a kit to go. So just know that. But whatever you have, you'll have the supplies to recreate that. All right, so our last project coming in here, we are using Comforting Thoughts. Oops. Comforting Thoughts. This is an online exclusive stamp set, and it just says a lot of those things that sometimes it's just hard to say, but needs to be said, particularly with this sentiment here. No matter how you slice it, that is not a good, nobody likes to hear that. Diagnosis. And when you do, you need some uplifting and encouragement. That's what you need. That's important. So the rest of these sayings are that do just that. They are uplifting, they are encouraging, because sometimes when life deals you that, you need that support. You need that support. We're using Garden Green ink. We have definitely felt that in my family with my mom when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I do understand. Okay. All right, so these are the projects that we're making on this one. So you're going to say like, look, it's opening. Okay. So we've got two different cards. They're opening two different ways. So I created them this way because I wanted to use both sides of the paper and opening them up. I know it seems a little backwards, but I felt like it worked. So it's a fun fold that gives you just a different way to open the card. Okay. And we are going to use let me grab the packet because I don't have much of it left. It's the Meandering Meadows Designer Series paper. So this is what I have left of this particular pack. I know we've used it before in class, but you've just got these beautiful, beautiful landscaping scenes. You just can't go wrong with using any of them, really. And then on the back side, you've got some nice watercolor effects, just different blends of paper. This one actually still has some florals on it too. That kind of looks like forget-me-nots in a way on there, but beautiful paper. So everybody at class had different ones. And this again is an online exclusive. So Meandering Meadows, you can look that up online and grab yourself some of that. So I am going to share with you what the supplies we're using on this one. So we've got our basic white envelope. We've got a piece of garden green twine that is about 16, 17 inches long. So you just need a nice long piece of twine. So I went ahead and cut out the spanner, this one here, and I did so using the largest banner die and the nested essentials dies. So that's already been cut out for us. I've got a piece of thick basic white cardstock, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got a piece of garden green cardstock, and it is cut 5.5 by 7.5. Is it 7.5? Let me look here. Yeah, 7.5. So 5.5 by 7.5. I have scored that at 4 1/4. So there's a score line here. Let me just go ahead and fold that. That's going to create part of our fun fold. So we've got that done. And then you need one piece of DSP. So you can do this card really with any kind of landscaping paper, but this paper is just stunningly beautiful. So this was my paper. So that was the vision of it together, little meadow. And what I did was cut an inch, 3/4 of an inch off the bottom. And then this is 6 inches wide. So I cut those in half. So you have two pieces that are 3 by 5 1/4. Okay. So you would get two out of one sheet. We're just going to be making one card today, but in the kit, your kit, you'll have two pieces from the same paper and you will make two of each card or one of each card. Good grief, I can't talk today. So what I pointed out in class, oh, and I don't have a little hinge piece. Hang on. You need a little hinge piece. I forgot that one. So this is just 1 inch by 2 inches, and I've scored it at a 1/2 inch there. So you want to fold that in half to create your little hinge for the card. So you'll have that in your kit too. So when we were doing this card, you want to think about how you're laying the card out before you stamp your die cut piece. And what I mean by that is, okay, so on these cards here, if I were to stamp both of these like this way, you know, with the straight side here and the points going out. So this one would be, say, right here. So when I would stamp that both ways, thinking, okay, that's going to work. When I would turn it over to flip it on this one, it's going to be upside down. Okay. So you've got that, but you also have, like, if you were stamping this, making some of these at home and you stamped it that way and thought, okay, this is great, but oh, I actually want to put it on the other side, you know, the other card, I'll just flip it over. You're going to have a greeting that you're going to be able to see on the back side. So you just have to think about how you're going to put your card together. so that you're making sure that you're putting the right banner stamped the right way with how the card opens. And I hope that makes sense, but as we go through this process, hopefully it will. Okay, so, oh, and we're putting little butterflies on our card as well. I ran out of the brass butterflies at class, so I grabbed some butterfly gems, and these are gonna work nicely. So any type of little butterflies, or if you have like the songbirds and the dragonflies, those will work really well too. So let's see. I'm gonna do wishing you comfort. We'll do that one. Yeah. No, I think I'll do a wish I can make this better. I'm gonna do that one. It works for a lot of different things, so I'm gonna stick with that one. That on my block. Okay. So for this card, what I want to do is get my paper on first so I can figure out where I want to put my banner piece, and just that kind of helps me align with my project, knowing what direction I want to go so I get the correct placement with that. So I'm going to put my designer series paper on that front panel. Okay. And stamp there. So this is my layered piece that I'm going to put inside the card. Now you could stamp a sentiment in there as well. I'm going to leave it blank so I can kind of just use it to write what I wanted to say. So I'm kind of placing my little hinge here. I'm just tucking it behind my white piece of cardstock. Just trying to see where I want to put this banner. Do I want it to go up more towards the sky? Do I want to be able to see that sky and bring it down here, you know, to see more of the sky? Or do I want to see more of the flowers? I, hmm. I think I want to put it, see, you got to really think about this. I think I actually want to put it here so I can see like the sky, the flowers, and the trees. I kind of get a little bit of everything. So because I want to determine first where I need to put this little banner piece, because this is going to be the hinge for your label. So I'm going to take that white cardstock out. You want to put adhesive on the top, or, you know, so this part of the fold. So here's you've got your little fold here, this part of the fold, because I want to be able to fasten it to my cardstock. So watch this. So we're going to put adhesive on there. I wanted it about a third of the way, quarter of the way up. So I'm going to take and tuck this hinge underneath my white cardstock. There we go. And stick that on the back side. So I've got it stuck to the back and it's creating my hinge. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put that down. And because it's kind of got a little bit of movement there, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal, which is a little bit stronger of adhesive. It's going to hold it down and we're going to be good to go. So I want to just use that. I'm going to put that in place. Okay. So I need to stamp it. So that's how I want it. It's going to open this way. So I know I need to stamp my greeting on this side, not going this way, but going this way with the little banner points out. So I'm going to ink my stamp with the garden green ink and stamp that down. Okay, I wish I could make this better. Again, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal because we've got some movement here and this will help really hold that down in place. Right, so I've got my banner in there, good to go. Next, I want to take my twine, wrap this around. So I'm going to start on the outside and bring it in the inside, lining up my little ends there. So I've kind of got the same amount, and then just wrap those around and come around the outside again. And then I'm going to tie that in a knot. So if you start that way, you'll have enough to tie it in a bow. If you start on the outside and then wrap it in, or on the inside, wrap it around, you may just have enough to do a knot. So you'll see what I'm talking about once you have the twine in front of you and you're working with it. But I wanted to tie a little bow, so. And then you just shimmy that down a little bit so it doesn't completely cover your greeting. Got that in place. And then we're going to come in and put a little of these butterflies on here. And your big tool. I think I'm going to use the blue. And I think I need some more putty on my, out of my take your pick tool. Because it's not quite coming out as I would like it to. We'll do another blue. Oh, those are so cute. Okay. So this is our fun fold for this project. Okay. And again, like I said, you're going to have, so two different ones. So let me get all these inclusives out of the way and kind of bring these projects back in. So you have this too. That's one we made. Then you've got this one, this one, this one. Then you've got this one, this one. This one, so many options, so many options. All very, very beautiful in their color layouts and everything. And then this one. So those are your ideas for the Fun Folds class. I hope that you enjoyed the projects today and you've gotten some creative inspiration. Let me flip the camera back around here. Okay. Ah, there we go. To flip it around and get on the other screen. So, okay. All right, well, that was a bit of creative workout. So I hope that you got some great ideas and that these cards with the measurements and all that inspire you to get your designer series paper out and create some fun folds. I would love to hear your feedback, which ones that you liked, which ones you're like, this was hard for me. I really like this one. It was easier. I like the idea here. I'd love to hear your feedback. So I appreciate your time today. I thank you for allowing me to share some creativity with you. I'm grateful for that. You're welcome to share this video again, share it with someone else, and maybe you can inspire them to create their own paper sunshine. So until next time, happy stamping. All right, bye-bye.